Well guys, it's that time again. Getting into second week of September. Bow season's just a few weeks away now. This is the urban spot. I'm going to refer to it as the urban spot. Basically, it's a property owned by the city that I work for, and they allow a drawing every year, and a certain number of people are allowed to come down and hunt it. So right now I'm gonna drop the kayak in the creek here and scout the access on the water. I already scouted it from the shore. It looks pretty good. Found a couple different parking spots where I could easily beach the kayak and pop up into, you know, some of these inside corners and these big ag fields on the edge of cover. But I want to see how far I can take the creek down from this one drop-in spot up here and kind of scout that, make sure there's no big obstructions or anything. And that could be a game changer, because this creek side of this property last year was generally where the deer were. My big issues were access and the wind. So if I can eliminate the access dilemma, I think we'd be in good shape. And there's a car back here with the hood up and the door is open. What are we doing? Great. Let's see what this is all about. Well, there she is. This is the most obvious access to this creek here on this urban property here. But obviously, since I pulled in here and there's a guy lying to me about working on his car back here, he's sitting on his phone with his fishing gear, I probably don't want to be leaving my kayak right here. But I did find another parking spot, a short walk from this little parking area, where I could definitely leave the kayak if I want to. My idea is I don't want to have to bring it out every time. So I brought some equipment to lock it. So I'll check that out on my way in. And right now, I mean, this creek looks like it's holding plenty of water for the kayak. We'll see what it looks like in the fall. But for right now, I think we'll be good to use it. So I'm gonna get on the water, see what's back in here. Well, I think I found the best crossing of this creek that I've seen yet. And it makes sense on the map. I was trying to get to this spot to check it out because there's a huge irrigation drainage coming off of these ag fields from the west. That's all off, no permission over there, but it's all standing corn from what I can see from right here. But on our side, there's at least 3 heavy trails coming down the bank to cross the creek right here. So this is a very interesting spot to focus on. And I'm thinking back to last year when I was hunting on this south side here in late October, and bucks were pouring out of this corner here. I'm also going to walk up on this flat. I've never seen this before. I've never walked this. Just saw it from a distance when I was watching deer. So this is all stuff that I didn't know last year to even look at, because it's first year in a new property. So this is year 2. I've got all these mental notes from last year, areas I want to see now before we get into season, so I can get everything established here, pick trees for saddle, pick parking spots for the kayak, and that way when season goes and we're live, I can jump right in here and start to put some of this knowledge to use that I've learned in the last year or so. It's 5 o'clock. I made it to the south end here, so I'm gonna kind of sneak up. It's like almost like a whole roadbed that goes up along the creek, up into this. I can't see anything right now. I'm just gonna pop up in and just do some light scouting and try to find a place to hang. And my main goal is to get a cell cam out down here along this creek. So something I'll leave for later this month. But I'd like to find a scrape or something, maybe some buck sign. So we'll see what we stumble on back in here. Okay, now we're talking. I found a very, very fresh. Looks like probably a buck bed. It's a huge bed. Right there, back to the creek. Okay. I don't know if I spooked him on the water, because it looks fresh. But that's a big, big, big bed. Wow. Yeah, buddy. We're in some buck's domain right now. Fresh scrape. That's awesome. Cornfield, standing corn is right up here. This gets really deep and nasty back in here. I'm right on this edge. So, that's got fresh dirt in it. This is a nice way to get in. I've noticed, even with a few inches of water, I can at least float my gear on the kayak. That way I'm not carrying it all the way in here. And then if I get a deer, I'll definitely be able to float a deer out on the kayak. Just pull it. So I like this so far. It's just, there's probably 2 spots that it gets dicey, just with all the debris under the water and stuff in the fast water. So those are spots I'm gonna avoid being mounted. And oh, there goes a deer right there. Big doe. Again, I just bumped that deer. She's still standing there looking. She has no idea. Hi, Mama. Bedded right on the creek bank, more or less right at the top. So, sounded like there was probably a little one with her. That's cool. So this is passing a bedding area called the West Bedding. And the West Bedding is where I killed Hook last year. On the other opposite side of it from where I'm at now. There's a spot up here that can be a little dicey. We'll see what it looks like here. I might be walking. I'd say I'm gonna walk. That might be the last of the troublesome water. So I have a creek crossing cam right here, which the buck I'm hunting today has been on this crossing. So I'm going to check it real quick. He was last seen going north this direction. Who knows where he ended up, but I would like to know if he ended up crossing and going into the corn over there. Standing corn on both sides of the creek here. So maybe if he's living over there, he would have headed that way to bed. Nice place for a break too. I'm completely packed for Indiana. And I called an audible today because of the buck that showed up this morning in the scrape. So let's see what we got. That might be him. Shit. What time was that at? Oh my. Here's my boy right there. That's him. Oh my gosh. 9:30 this morning. Wow. But if he's up here hitting this scrape, following a doe around, I gotta think he's gonna come back or be in that area still up there, potentially. Alright, I'm gonna slow it down. So, this is the start of the big woods is what we call it. It's on the south end of this permission piece here. And I mean, we're danger close right now. I'm gonna have to get lucky and hope nothing's bedded on this creek bank. But I originally found this spot from the water, popped up in off this logging road here, and found a huge bed right off the rip, right on the edge of the creek. And then went in a little bit further, found 2 really good scrapes, and that was early October. So I figured they're open that early. They're probably going to be scrapes that are hit kind of frequent, and they have been hit quite a bit the last 5 days or so, including this morning. So I'm just going to go real easy up into this. Go super slow once I get parked. Try to not bang anything, make any noises that are out of place, and hopefully we can get up in here clean and get somewhere close to where those scrapes are. I keep scanning up on the bank for tines, antlers sticking up in the grass maybe. I have a feeling he's close. Oh yeah, baby. just had my target buck at about 100 yards on the opposite creek bank, so on the neighbors. I just hit the horns together. He was just cruising. I don't know if he really even heard it with this wind. Alright, so far I've seen 2 deer. My hit lister and a doe. It looked like the doe was being pushed. She just had that kind of a frantic look about her, not like she's running from me. I mean, she was upwind. I'm not worried about that so much, but I thought maybe there'd be a buck following her. And there could have been, but I had a hard time seeing that direction. It gets kind of thick, and there's the sun been blasting through the trees here and just lights up all the leaves. So I don't know where she went. I don't know where he went. But this temperature is dropping a lot. I mean, by the minute. So I gotta think that these bucks are up moving somewhere. And the more they move, the better chance we've got of getting a crack at one. So see what happens here in the next hour or so. Coming. Working a tree. looking. He wants to come over. Man, he's big. He knows we're here. Let's see what he does. He's still going south. much penetration. I think I hit him forward. Alright, well, I just kind of finessed that big shooter in to about 35 yards and got an arrow in him, but he ducked a little bit. Seemed like the shot maybe was a little bit forward. He was quartering away from me, and the arrow didn't penetrate a ton. At least, I don't know, it could have gone in enough and backed out a little bit, but you know, it punched in him pretty good. I'm not overly confident. As you can see, I'm not celebrating right now. However, I am shaking uncontrollably. That's the buck I came in here after. I've had pictures of him different places around this area. It seems like he stays along the creek a lot. I get a good amount of pictures of him along this creek. And this morning I had him on the scrape right behind me at about 8:30 in the morning. So I kind of adjusted my Indiana plans and I came out here and tried him this evening. And I wasn't in the stand for more than 15 minutes, and I watched him walk the opposite creek bank from me on the neighbors. I tried to rattle him up at that point and couldn't get him to come over. But I did have a couple does come through. I let them leave, and with about a half hour of shooting light left, I just touched the horns together again and did some grunts. And sure as shit, he came walking right back down the creek bank, same as before, just coming south this time. And I got him making a rub over there and being pretty aggressive, and I could tell I had him emotional. So I started working on him with the bleat can a little bit and some tending grunts. And you know, he was looking, like trying to see the deer. And it's thick enough that I don't think, you know, he would have been able to see a deer over here. So he went south, and I'm guessing he did that to get the wind. But I watched him disappear into the brush again on the opposite side of the creek south, and I let him get out of sight, hit the antlers together again. And then I heard what I think was him crossing the creek, and then I heard him breaking branches down here in this big thicket south of me. I mean, at that point he was completely downwind, but I watched him come up through, and he followed this drainage bottom here right up to 40 yards probably, and made a scrape. And I didn't have a shot at him there, but while he was in his scrape, he got my wind and put his nose up. But I've been spraying doe and heat every so often up here, and hitting the leaves around me with it. And then I put Evercomb on this tree. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but instead of running away immediately, he actually came into about 30, quartering to me, and again, nose in the air the whole time. Got my wind, started to walk away, and I stopped him at like 35. I just was guessing range, but I let him have it, and he ducked a little bit. The shot might have been a little bit forward, and when I watched him run off, the arrow was sticking straight out of him real stiff. So I don't know exactly what we got. So my plan now is just, I'm going to slowly pack up, get out of here, go review the footage at the truck. I've got my computer with me, because he was in the frame really well and everything, so I could really zoom in tight and see what we got, and then we'll make a decision from there. But for right now, pack up. I do want to go look at impact, see what kind of hair we got, see what we got down there, because I did see him, 150 yards away. I could see the lighted knock go off into the timber here, so I know he's not close by. That's why I'm talking the way I am. But I'm just going to go down and take a look at impact, drop a pin, and get out of here, give him some time. It's going to be nice and cold tonight, so if he is hurting, maybe he'll bed down and stiffen up in his first bed. Definitely the last thing we want to do is push him. So I'll get back to the truck, make a decision, and keep you all in the loop on what we decide to do. All right, well, it's the morning after. I just shot that buck last night at about 5:30, 5:45. Shot was a little forward, and I got that creeping, like sinking doubt feeling in my gut. I've had it all night, and I hate not knowing, but one of the benefits of filming is being able to review your footage. And these cameras that we're using are so good that you're frame by frame, you can really see what's going on with your shot. So I did get a slight deflection, which I think maybe made my shot a little bit further right than I was hoping. So it was right in the area of the shoulder, but I do think he was quartering away. It looked like the arrow honestly went through the chest cavity and probably hit the opposite shoulder and then backed out a little bit as he was running. So that's probably why it looked like it barely went in. But just when I watch it frame by frame, it really looks like the arrow went in through the body, came back as he was running. And if that's the case, I think we'll have a dead deer, shortly after where I lost sight of him last night. So I got my boys coming out. They're going to help me out with the track, and hopefully they're going to help me with the drag too. So it's good to have good friends that'll come out with you and suffer through these things with you. But yeah, so I'll see you guys out in the field. We're going to meet up here shortly and take up the track. This is a buck that we call Vic. We had some history with him last year and started getting him on camera here at the urban property this year. And he showed up yesterday morning on a scrape over along the creek, and previously had scouted all that and creek access with the kayak. Ended up rattling him in, made a marginal shot, but it ended up being really good. I'm really surprised and relieved, but this guy is a monster. Look at this thing.